Good evening, race fans. How the bloody hell are we? This is the GT Champions BMW Cup, sponsored by HyPrix. We are at round number 3 at the Tokyo Expressway East clockwise, and it's going to be a doozy. Already we've seen 2 fabulous races here in Lobby 1, and this will not disappoint. I have no doubt in my mind at all. It's going to be a very, very quick one. Or is it? I'm Open Pirate, of course, as usual, from Black Flag Racing TV. And I bring you all the action from Lobby 1 this evening. We will have a quick look at runners and riders and all of that palaver. But let me hide that for a minute. I've got to set up the lobby with the current settings, and I will reveal them very, very soon. I think there's going to be an official announcement as well, but I just want to, I've got to set the weather settings because nobody else knows what those are. Well, I do, and I'm going to do that right now. So bear with me, because as you know, I am awful at multitasking. I can tell you something though, it's gonna be wet. It's gonna be very wet at some stage as well. So yeah, focus all around is the order of the day. This lobby that we've got some drivers that exceptional performance in lower lobbies has seen them jump up into lobby 1 through insanely quick lap times. It's one of those things, you know, you can be a lobby 1 driver, not have a great race, not be able to set a super hot lap, and find yourself languishing in lobby 2 or lobby 3. And equally, you can be in lobby 2, lobby 3, even lobby 4, have an absolute stonking lap, and find yourself racing for the big points with the big boys. And we'll go through just who is in this lobby when I've finally got this done. Right, there we go. It is 10 to the hour. Everything is as it should be. And we will reveal to the world what's going on. So it's going to get wet about halfway through the race. They're going to need to put on, well, I can say they need to put on alternative tyres. I think that's really down to their own level of bravery. They may well choose to stick on the soft compounds. We'll find out. We will find out. There we go. So I've just got that done. Right, here we go. So in the room this evening, I'm going to set up the lobby in a minute. In fact, we'll go through that in a minute, because I want to take a quick look at the standings so far. This is how we look after 2 rounds in the pro group. Monkey Man Macho from Black Flag tops the standings at the moment, 332 points. But it's not plain sailing. Just behind him, from HyPrix in Race City, is Greasy Sam Squanch with 321. Sharky from Leviathan Racing Team showing his pace, great 3rd place from last week, 317. And his teammate, the 2, just behind him on 314. And the top 5 is rounded out by another Black Flag Racing driver, Slipstream. Notable is Zeno from ART. Mashbuds Racing Kaizen is in 7th as well. Yes, it's looking pretty good in the pro standings. What I'm going to do, actually, let me bring up the grid so we can see the grid order. Don't want that one, do we? I'm going to turn that off. There we go. That's the current grid order, and I can set the grid while we go through it. So that's how we are looking, because it's set by host. So if I go quiet, it's because I very nearly quick start race. Imagine that level of incompetence. So Monkey Man Macho from Black Flag Racing, current championship leader in the pro group, is on pole position. Natu, just outside that top 3, is not in the room yet, so I can't put him in the grid, but I can do that in a minute. Zeno from ART, he will be 3rd. Tech Racing, good lap from them last time out. That puts them in 4th position. Behind Tech will be Sharky, who nicked 3rd place from Black Flag Slipstream with just a couple of laps to go last time out at Dragon Trail. Behind him, Greasy Sam Squanch, currently 2nd in the championship, so he doesn't have to move. Who we got after? Who else we got? LJ, there he is, LJ. Where are you, LJ? There's LJ. LJ behind Greasy. Then we've got Cyclone Dan, who is there. He moves up to there above him. Then in 9th is Slipstream. 10th will be Nico. Sorry, 10th will be Nico behind Slipstream. Then HPR, he's going to start last. He's got a penalty. That moves Bendit, who isn't yet checked in, so I can't put him in. Tati is in. So Tati will be behind there, behind Nico. Oh, we're actually behind Bendit, but he's not in the room yet. Kawazuri behind Tati. And the truth, HPR is now in. Where's HPR? There he is. So he goes up to. I know he's starting last. This is the right place. He's in the right place already. There we go. We'll apply that, and then we'll wait and see if anyone else is going to bother to check in. Who are we waiting for? We're just waiting for Bendit. Bendit has returned. I can now add him to the starting grid. There is Bendit. Bendit goes to where did he go? He goes to 11th, doesn't he? Because he's where is he? So he is behind Nico. Goes there behind Nico. Natu, we put all the way up to 2nd. There we go. And I think we're there. HPR at the back, the truth. Kawazuri, Tati, Bendit. Where's HPR gone? Oh, HPR's back there, isn't he? Nico, Slipstream, Cyclone, LJ, Greasy Sam Squanch, Sharky, Tech Racing, Zeno, Natu, and Macho Man. There he is. Right, there we have it. About 6 minutes to go. Let's check out, shall we? Let's check out the rest of the leaderboards. That's the pro classes. As you said, we've seen the top 5 there. Pro-Am looks a little bit like this. Jibub Trawick for the Expendables leads the Pro-Am class with Let It Rip from Sector 7. Second with 286 points. Flash 7115 on 277. Powers from ISIS 274. And Budsy from Mash Buds on 273, just behind him. But there's a gag on there. 274, 273, 272, all vying for the top 3. And in the amateur class after round 2, Ricardo from Black Flag tops that as well. Black Flag topping tables wherever we go. Pete Snow, independent driver on 231 is 2nd. Guardian from Apex is 227 points in 3rd. Hi-Fi Man, independent driver at 225. And the top 5 rounded out by another Apex driver, Heathen, in 5th position. Quick look at team points. Boom, that's how it looks at the moment. Leviathan Racing Crew, that is Sharky and Natu in that team. They currently top the leaderboard, 925 points. Our very own Black Flag are 2nd, 895, with the newly formed Mash Spuds Racing in 3rd place. Our glorious sponsors, HyPrix in 4th, Sector 7 in 5th, BVL in 6th, RWB, the people for whom make this all possible. They are behind BVL, then Amigos, then Apex, and then the Rusty Nuts Racing at the back of the pack. And they're the teams competing in this BMW Cup Team Championship. And I'm really, really looking forward to the race this evening. I think the fact that there's going to be rain mixes it up. It's an awesome track, Tokyo, anyway. This particular layout's one of my favourites. It's got a very, very, very long straight. You get a great exit out of the final corner, and you get on that power. And the power of the slipstream is awesome. And it's such a long straight. You could see a car overtaking and then losing that place. That's how long that straight is. And you've got a very twisty, turny, but fast section back the other way. And this track changes significantly when it gets wet. Braking zones change, of course, but the track gets very, very greasy. Not greasy Sam Squanch, but greasy overall. Right, there we have it. We've got everyone we're expecting in the room. Good to see Tatian, my fellow broadcaster, in lobby number 1. smashing it as she should as well. Absolutely brilliant broadcaster, and it's under a little bit of pressure to do her some justice. 3 black flag drivers in there, which I'm bursting with pride. Boom, 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 boom. But no, some amazing drivers out there today. It's going to be close. It's going to be a very close fought battle. So what do we got? We got about 2 minutes left. I'll give them the 2-minute warning, shall I? 2 mins. Send. There we go. So they know to get themselves ready, get their tyres on, and be prepared. It is a grid start with a full start check. Turn 1. What can I say about turn 1? Turn 1's going to be, you're going to be coming into turn 1 at pace because of how far back down that straight you start. Take it easy, fellas. Seriously, it's an hour long, this race. Don't go mashing it into turn 1 like that is the only time you get to overtake in this race. You're going to have plenty of opportunities. Don't get it wrong. I don't want to have to call a red flag. I don't like calling red flags anyway. I hate calling red flags. Hate it with a passion. I don't think there's any real necessity for it, particularly in GT7. But please don't make me call one, because I will call you out if you make a mistake and make me do a red flag. It's rubbish. And plus I'll obviously have to reset the grid as well, which will really, really annoy me. So there we go. Anyway, moving swiftly on. These guys know what they're doing. These guys are professionals. Well, as close as you can get to being a professional without actually getting paid for it. Few will be broadcasting from their point of view. I know certainly Greasy will be. I know Slipstream will be. I know Bendit will be. I'm sure a few others will as well. Do check them out after the race. Obviously, make sure you like and subscribe here if you haven't done so already. But do check them out after the race and look at it from their point of view, because sometimes you see some amazing, amazing things. Right. Anyway, we are what, a minute away? A minute away. I've really been looking forward to this all week. I've been looking forward to this. It's one of my favourite tracks. Right. I think it's time to let them know we are ready to go. I'm going to start this race. I very nearly clicked enter then. I need to wake up a little bit, don't I? Wake up. Tell you what I do need to do. I want to turn off my speakers because they can be pretty loud. Just let it come through my ear. Right, okay, I'm going to do this thing. We're starting. Here we go. The clock is a ticking, folks. If they're not ready by now, they should have been. I'll bring that up now, just because it's easier. Okay, let's have it. Round number 3. Spectate. Now, I've so much to do before a race starts. Get there, I've got to get the driver's names off. Don't like that overcast. Right, and we want to go out to chase cam, and we want to go back to about midpoint. So let's be having you. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5 lights, and we are away. And it's going to be a drag race down to turn 1. Actually, the further back you are here, the better off you might be, because you get that slipstream heading down to turn 1, and it gives you a real good opportunity to get a run on those other cars around you. And we're on board. We're staying in chase cam, running up the hill. Looks okay behind. There's a couple of cars making a challenge on LJ there. Monkey Man Matcher still in the lead. Natu still in second. A couple of drivers making a move. Into turn 1 we go. Oh, the front 9. Oh, there's a little spin there. That's 2 cars stricken everybody else through. We're going to leave it as it is. I think we can get a replay there and see if we can find out what happened. Oh, that was, who was that? That was Tech Racing coming across into Greasy, and the kind of, and it kind of caused a pile-up here. Well, not a pile-up, there's only a couple of cars involved there, so certainly not red flag material, but that's something I think the stewards might have to look at after the race. But it's not my place to be calling steward decisions. I'm not going to do it anymore. If I see something, I'll call it out, obviously, but no need. Right, so Monkey Man Macho leads the way. Already trying to pull out a bit of a gap from Zeno, but let's face it, he might not have had the greatest of races last week, but don't be fooled, because Zeno is no slouch. Zeno is an amazing driver, racing for Amigos Racing Team, the Dutchman. But yeah, great win from him in round 1 at Sardinia. So don't count this guy out at any stage. He's up into second, and it looks like it was Natu that really lost out in the opening stages of that race, because he's way down in 12th place. Greasy up to third. Good position to be in at this stage. The HyPrix driver, currently second in the championship, racing for HyPrix Sim Race City. Tech Racing, there he is for BDL. He's up into fourth. And already 1.2 seconds. He's already pulled out a bit of a gap from LJ. That's going to leave LJ as a bit of a sitting duck. You can see here Cyclone Dan tucked in nicely behind him. It's going to be very difficult to defend. He's got no slipstream of his own because the gap ahead is just too big. And we're going to see Cyclone Dan stay tucked in. And the thing is, you have to kind of time when you make that move. As you can see up ahead, a move being made as well. That's the move being made on Greasy. That's Tech Racing moving up into third position. And Cyclone didn't quite have enough to get around LJ. So LJ lives to fight another day. Kawazuri running in 7th position. He's got Slipstream behind him. Slipstream already up to 8th for, of course, Black Flag Racing Team. And directly behind him is another Black Flag driver. He's up 1 place, is Bendit. And he is, I think he started in lobby 3 or 2 in round 1. And he showed incredible pace last time out to sneak, well, not sneak in. He got in on his own merit, you know. He didn't come in through the back door. He kicked the door open and swaggered through into lobby 1. HPR, very, very quick driver is HPR, and certainly one to watch. Currently running in 10th, is just behind Bendit. Still very close together. That's the great thing about Tokyo. Because of that massive slipstream on that back, well, it's back and front straight, isn't it? You really do have very close racing throughout. And of course, when it gets moist, then it gets fun. Tati, get in there, Tatiana. She's currently running half a second back in 11th place behind HBR, with Natu desperate to try and claw his way back up through the order. Currently running in 12th position. 1.3 seconds back is Nico, not getting any slipstream, not giving any up either, to the truth. And Sharky, it looks like Sharky was also caught up early doors, and he finds himself at the back of the pack. But listen, we know what Sharky is capable of doing from the back of the pack. But only 2 cars stricken in that turn 1 incident that were visible, and as such doesn't qualify for a red flag, although it does qualify for some stewarding to be looking at it. Monkey Man Macho in the lead by 1.8 Great British seconds. He is starting to pull away a gap from Zeno, and he needs to do that. Last thing he wants is a big gaggle of cars behind him getting stuck in his slipstream and pulling them along the racetrack. And what's a fastest? I'll tell you what. 1:58.7 as a fastest lap. Bear in mind, it's the first hot lap of the race. He has clipped the wall, they've got a bit of damage, which is going to slow him down somewhat. But a 1:58.7 is not too shabby. We're going to see Zeno really closing down now after Monkey clipped a wall coming through this twisty. I was going to call it an infield section, but it's kind of it's a slip road section, I suppose you could call it. 1.8 back to Greasy. He's made his way ahead of Tech Racing again into third, but it's going to be more of the same because Tech Racing is going to be in that slipstream running all the way up after this final corner, and then have the opportunity again with that slipstream to make the move. Talking of slipstream, he's moved up to 6th position, and into that final corner we go, and it's 3 abreast fighting there with slipstream. We've got LJ in there, we've got Slipstream there, we've got Cyclone Dan, Kawazuri from HyPrix in there as well. That's a 4-way battle at the moment, but currently being won out by LJ of Mash Spuds Racing. And we can see here now Slipstream closing on the back of him. Is he going to make this move early? No, he's doing exactly what he should do. In this scenario, coming past him, it doesn't help anybody because you're not close enough to the guys in front to benefit. A little bump draft here, you can push the guy up a little bit closer. He in turn pulls you along with the slipstream, and that gap to that front six just changes a little bit. Kawazuri has got other plans though. Kawazuri just wants to make the overtake, and that he does. And he's up the inside. Does he stick it and make it hold? Yes, he does. Kawazuri up into 6th position. Makes the move on Slipstream. So Slipstream playing the long game with LJ and trying to close on the front runners. Kawazuri's like, I'm having none of that. I'm off. See you later. Cyclone Dan is in at the back of that group of 4, chasing down the top 5 or top 4 at the moment. Bendit trying to hang on to the back of that little gaggle of cars. I'm not doing a bad job of doing it because it looks like Slipstream's had a problem. As Slipstream clipped a wall, it looks like he has got some damage in the front. We can see where he did that. So he's coming through there. It looks like it's as you go round this left-hander. Yes, gets it all kinds of wrong. Round the left-hander, doesn't scrub off enough speed. It just clips the outside wall. Excuse me. And that has lost him a couple of places. And just as we do that, we see, I think that was Cyclone Dan. No, it wasn't. Was it Nico that just had that problem? But we saw a car in the wall. Yeah, it looks like it was here. Yeah, he does. He clips the wall there and gets it all kinds of wrong again there. Moving swiftly on. Monkey Man Macho leads the way still from Zeno. He's still got a 1.6 second lead. Absolutely dominating. But look at this behind. That's the battle for second. That is Zeno, followed by Greasy, followed by Tech Racing. Let's go on board with Tech Racing, or chase cam with Tech Racing. You can see this battle. We look behind. You can hardly see the cars behind. The top 4 now absolutely pulling away from these guys. You can see LJ can hardly see them and going round turn 1. But what a battle for second. Monkey Man Macho leading from Zeno, from Greasy Sound Squatch, with Tech Racing holding on in 4th place. And all over the back of Greasy at the moment. This is a very, very close fought battle for the top 4. Want to look down the order because we've got some quick guys down there. The quick guys. There's Tati at the back of the pack at the moment. Looks like Tati's had a problem because 5.3 seconds behind Natu. It looks like Natu's had another problem because he was already starting to work his way through the order. The Truth holding on in 13th position, 1.1 ahead of Natu, 3.1 behind Nico. That is Nico there. He's sticking with Sharky. Sharky up to 11th already, starting to fight his way through. We've seen this before from Sharky, and we're going to see it again. He did it at Dragon Trail last week. He had a penalty, started at the back of the grid, and got himself onto the podium. Do not count this boy out at any stage. There's a reason why his race team are top of the team championship. Very, very quick. And he is, of course, the current GTC world champion. Just ahead of him, Cyclone Dan running in that top 10. That's a 4-way battle now for 9th place. At the moment, at the head of that battle, Black Flag driver Bendit did try and capitalise on, or to say that, tried to capitalise on Slipstream. The Slipstream's right there. The Slipstream had another problem. It looks to me that he started to really slow. Did he have an issue somewhere? He did. He got it all kinds of wrong through the last corner and has allowed that group to catch up. So he's not been able to stick with the guys ahead. And a couple of mistakes on the last couple of laps really cost him. That's allowed HPR a little bit of breathing room. It's 2.9 seconds either side of him at the moment. He's not in that Match Spuds racing car getting any assistance from the drag or anything along those lines, but he's under no pressure at the moment. Kawazuri from Team HyPrix. His teammate Greasy still in that top 3. Him and LJ now, just that was a battle. That was a 4-way battle that was just outside that top 4. That's now a 2-way battle between Kawazuri from HyPrix Sim Race City and LJ from Mash Spuds Racing. And this is looking like a very good battle moment. LJ holding off, and has been holding off challenges from all of those drivers quite significantly. And as we say that, Kawazuri pulls out an absolute doozy of a move. Just check this move out. Why is it not allowing me to? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it just looks like LJ just gets a little bit wide through there, and Kawazuri just threads the eye of a needle and puts that BMW up into 5th position. The gap now to the lead group, 4.3 seconds. At the head of that group, Macho Man. I wanna be your macho man. 1.8 seconds he leads the group. I've got to sing it now because I'll get copyrighted if I play this song. It's not fair, man. It's not fair. I'm not dressing up as a finish people though. Absolutely not happening. No way. Zeno from ART. He is 1.8 seconds behind Monkey Man Macho, but can't lose these two. It's Greasy Sam Squatch, who's about to make that move up into 2nd. 3 abreast as they head up to turn 1 into the braking zone. Just as Greasy makes the move one side, we see Tech Racing make the move the other, and with the inside line, does he hold off? He doesn't. Greasy up into 2nd. Tech tucking in behind him with Zeno in 4th. These guys trading positions all the time, and all that does is that allows Monkey Macho Man to start opening up a gap. Fastest lap of the race thus far is on Greasy. It's a 1:58.1. You're going to get these times of tumbling, particularly with the slipstream. Now, we know that the weather is due to change. Now, for some unbeknownst reason to me, they don't allow commentators, unless you're really lucky, and where it's got the radar down there, you get the weather map. They don't allow us the weather data, which they probably should. And so I don't know when it's going to rain. I just know it's going to be soon. I imagine sometime in the next 5 or 6 minutes, we're going to see a little change to the weather. At the moment it's sunny, but you watch. Once the clouds set in, then we know the rain is coming. And I think this is why we've got these guys pushing at the moment, trying to... I apologise for that. My cat found a plate and has decided that the plate doesn't break it though. But I am going to break the little ginger git. I got a really cool picture of the cat actually, just as I was getting prepared for this broadcast. It found a little spot on the desk next to the wheel and decided he was going to have a little chill next to the wheel at the time. Bless the little cotton socks of the little cotton cat. Hang on. What's going on? That's better. I was, my microphone went a little weird then. Right, so, where were we? Right, I wanted to have a look at what's going on with Slipstream, because he was battling in and amongst the big boys there, but now finds himself down the order. He's had a couple of bad laps, lap 4 and lap 5, some touches with the wall, and we're about to watch Sharky make a move past him up into 8th. We're on lap 8, and Sharky has made up 7 positions all the way to the back on lap 1. He's gone purple. So is this fastest lap? The fastest lap that currently belongs to Greasy, the 1:58.1. Does that go into Sharky's hands? Does he grasp it, snatch it away from the Canadian driver? Up into 8th he goes. Next target though, some way up the road. This is teammate HPR. Oh no, sorry, it's not his teammate. HPR runs for Matchbox Racing. Delete that bit. I'm getting him mixed up with where is he? Where's he gone? There he is, Natu, running in 13th place, struggling a little bit. Bendit's dropped down a couple of positions. He's down to 12th. He was mixing it with Slipstream for a while. He's now having a little battle with Nico, and this is the battle for 11th place. There is Nico there. I love that orange colour on that beam. It looks awesome. Cyclone Dan inside the top 10, right up behind Slipstream. Is Slipstream having that hard a time in this BMW here? Because he's losing places hand over fist at the moment. He did start in 9th, had a good start in the race, but since then it's all seemed to come away, fall apart and come away from him. He is holding on, but you've got to bear in mind that Cyclone Dan's going to be tucked nicely in behind that M6. So the M6, they're all in the bloody M6. Yeah, so the BMW Cup, they had choices. It was the M6, the M3, or the Z4. And pretty much the entire field has gone for this M6 because it's just a glorious car. And there, as we thought, Cyclone Dan using that Slipstream on Slipstream to get past Slipstream. But Slipstream now, with his own Slipstream, trying to use that Slipstream to get past Cyclone Dan. Can he make it work into turn 1 as they head up towards the braking zone? How many more laps have we got before the rain comes? How much more opportunity have they got to set their fastest lap for next week? We don't know how quickly the track's going to dry out after the rain goes, if it goes at all, of course. We know it will go, but how quickly will the track dry out? I certainly don't think we're going to have any more optimum conditions to set your fastest lap to sort out which lobby you're in next week. And we can see there that Slipstream dropping right off the back of Cyclone Dan now. Out in the lead, nothing changes. It's still Macho Man. Is he going to make it 2 from 2 out of the first 3 races here in the BMW Cup? Certainly looks on course to do that. But of course, when the rain comes, everything changes. All bets are off. Can these guys drive in the rain as well as they can drive in the dry? We are going to find out shortly, very, very shortly, once they the men are sorted from the boys, when the track gets moist. There's the fastest man currently on the racetrack with a 1:58.1. Lap 3 he did that. That was with a full tank of fuel, also with some slipstream of course. But look at those, look at the consistency in that lap time. It's a 58 all the way apart from one anomaly, which he probably clipped a wall there or something. Tech Racing struggling to stick with Greasy, and at the moment struggling to get away from Zeno. Zeno giving a little nudge. He wants to close that gap on Greasy. He's going to want to make the overtake at some stage, but he wants to close the gap on Greasy. He does not want to see Greasy getting away from them. And that was absolutely the right idea. These three, if they want any hope of challenging for the win here, I think they're going to have to work together and try and close the gap on Monkey Man Macho by nudging each other along on that straight. I think that's the only way at the moment with his pace that they're going to catch him. He's 1.5 seconds clear. He's in the BMW M6 GT3 sport model, of course. But yes, the last thing these guys want is that gap to open up any further. They want to be able to try and stick with him, and really the best way to do that is to work together. Listen, we know it's all versus all events. Everyone is vying to get one up on each other, but sometimes you just need to work together to give you all the opportunity. And that looked like he was clipping the wall. I don't know what the cat's going under my desk, but I hope it's opportunity. This cat is proving to be a bit of a menace. The bigger it gets, the more menacing the little ginger gets. It's like children. They're very cute for a very brief moment when they arrive, and then you wish you'd shut the door and hid them. I don't. Right, Zeno in fourth place. That's the front four. They're already now 7.7 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. This is the GT Champions BMW Cup season number 3, using the BMW GT3 cars, the M6, the M3 and the Z4 on the table. Both versions of the M6, the Sprint and the Endurance model available. They can choose whichever one they wanted. Most have opted for the M6. It is the slightly better car for me. I think if you put all three down and you put them side by side and you're whipping them around a track, I think you'll come at 99 times out of 100 you'll say, I want the M6. This is round number 3. We're at Tokyo Expressway, and this is the top lobby. These are the best 15 drivers from last week. Well, no, I say the best 15 drivers. They were the fastest 15 drivers from last week across all 4 lobbies in this BMW Cup. And that's how we do it. We did one qualifying session right at the beginning of the season, and that set the 4 lobbies for race number 1. From there, they are set by your fastest lap in the race. So if you are in lobby 4 and you set the fastest lap out of all 4 lobbies, into lobby 1 you go, my friend. Into lobby 1 you go. And these 15 were the 15 fastest last week. Let's look outside the top 10 for a little while. Slipstream back up to 9th. That's where he qualified. That's where he currently is. Cyclone Dan back behind him, 2.1 seconds behind. We've got Nico with Natu still duking it out, these two, back in 11th and 12th. At the moment, Natu hasn't found a way around Nico, but he's trying to do what his teammate has done and side his way through the field. We will find Shark in a minute and find out just how well he is getting on. There is Bendit running in 30th. There's a yellow flag up ahead. That's a Mash Sponge racing car. That looks like the car of LJ. LJ losing loads and loads and loads of time. Let's see if we can see what happened to him. Clips the wall down, he just sends the car spinning into the wall. And I'm afraid to say, my friend, you can't park that there, mate. So he's lost loads and loads of time and loads of damage to his car as well, which is going to have a really, really bad effect on its handling for a little while. And the last place you want that to be happening is on this long, long stretch down to turn 1. That puts LJ in 14th place, 19 seconds clear of Tati. Struggling a little bit with pace here, Tati. Hasn't gone sub 2 minutes yet. Everybody else, I think, oh, actually, the Truth hasn't either. The Truth is 2 minutes as well. Bendit 2 minutes. He hasn't gone sub 2 minutes. So actually, you've got LJ in there. He's consistently been in the 159s, but finds himself back in 14th position after that glorious spin. Nico is running in 11th, just behind Natu in 9th. Cyclone in Natu in 10th. Cyclone now in 9th and Slipstream in 8th. Obviously, everyone's shuffled up after LJ's stricken car. Right, HPR running in 7th. He's now the Mashed Spuds leader. Here there in 7th place. He is a second clear of Slipstream and 3.8 seconds behind this guy. That's where Sharky is. He's now in 6th, and his next target is the Sim Race City hybrid car of Kawazuri, running in 5th place. This is all that is left of that battle outside the top 4. Remember, we had 4 cars battling to try and close on the top 4. This is all that's left. The remnants of that 4-car battle is Kawazuri and Sharky fighting it out for 5th position. Top 4 unchanged. The only difference now, of course, is we were talking about how those cars work together to catch the leader. They've done that. Monkey Man Macho's lead cut to just 0.2 of a second, and he hasn't really slowed down too much. They just work together behind him to close the gap. And Greasy Sam's Crunch with the fastest lap of the race. So that's with Slipstream, with a little bit of bump drafting. That's giving him a 1:57.9 as the fastest lap. That is a phenomenal time here at Tokyo Expressway. The average time for these drivers I expect it to be in the mid to high 58s, 59s on a regular basis. But they're absolutely smashing out some insane lap times. I mean, we're talking qualifying pace in a race lobby. Monkey Man Macho is holding on, but how long can he hold on for? It's a 4-way battle. We'll have a look here, actually. I was saying it's a 4-way battle, but Zeno just dropping off the pace a little bit. Let's bump one forward. That's Tech Racing. That's your top 3. 13 laps into this race, and that's your top 3 already. Still side by side, in line, travelling as fast as they possibly can, trying to hold on to each other. And I tell you what, for them to still be racing this closely, this deep into the race, is absolutely phenomenal. And we know that there is some weather coming. Look at the change in the sky. We knew it was going to get wet at some point. How long before these guys are going to have to blink and put on some wet weather tyres as we head down this straight to complete lap 13 and start lap 14. So the 13 wasn't unlucky for many, but it could be unlucky for some. So I need to lubricate. I don't know if you can get worried about it. I'm going to turn it down a bit. Acutely aware that my fan is quite loud. It's hot, man, hot. So here we go, Tech Racing. That's a 3-way move, and they're going to sandwich him either side of Monkey Man Macho. Tech Racing one side, Sim Race City HyPrix, Greasy the other. Tech Racing has to back out, but it is Greasy makes the move up into the lead of this race. You can watch this here. He's closing in. They do go either side of Monkey Man, and at one stage he drops to third, but holds on into the braking zone a little bit braver, and it's Greasy Sam Squatch that moves up into the lead. Monkey Man tucked in behind. That was a good little move from Greasy. Didn't let the inside line bother him in the slightest. So that 1.6 second lead that we were talking about Monkey Man Macho having gone eroded. It just took a little bit of teamwork between Zeno and Tech Racing and Greasy Sam Squatch. Just was a little bit of bump drafting, pushing each other along, egging each other up the track, giving them that little bit of extra horsepower down the straight to close that gap and allow them to make the move on Monkey Man Macho. And that's why you do it, folks. You work together, and this is what you can achieve. Zeno just dropping off a little bit off the pace. I wonder if he had a problem. Looking at his lap times there, I mean, it only didn't suggest to me he had a problem at all. I think all it was is he did a 59. He was the one at the back, bumping them along, and hasn't been able to sort of keep with them. But the front four at the moment, 11.2 seconds clear of Sharky. Sharky has made the move on Kawazuri. He's up into fifth, but that is wide. That's very wide. Can Kawazuri nip back in front? He can't. So Sharky does... Right, who's going to the pits? Right, Monkey Man Macho stays out. He's going for one more. Greasy in. Tech Racing in. What tyres are these guys putting on? That's the hunker burning question. Are they preempting with some wet weather tyres? Because it's not wet just yet. Or are they going to put on some softs and wait? They're certainly getting the fuel on board. So Monkey Man stays out. HPR stays out. Natu, Cyclone Dan, Zeno, he's back out. He's gone full wet. He's not messing around, Zeno. He's not going to mess around with anything other than the full wet tyre. LJ, he's still out. He's opted to stay out. Greasy Sam Squatch, he's come out. He's on the intermediate tyre. Tech Racing, he's on the full wet as well. So interesting choices. They clearly feel it's time. The rain is starting to come down now. Have a look on board and we can see just how wet it is. It's not super wet yet, and you can see it's starting to come down. And the question is, can these guys have stayed out on the soft compound tyres? Because it gets very greasy here very quickly. Very greasy Sam Squatch very quickly. And the problem with that is, of course, if you're on the slick tyres, greasy track, lots of water, doesn't mix. And that just means crashy time. But it seems that they're holding on. It seems that the lap times are okay. Right, this is the key. Round the bend you go here. You've got to get on the power. Don't lose the back end. He very nearly did. He's going to come in a pit this time. A little bit of power. You get to go under the bridge. It dries out, of course. It dries out as soon as you get under that tunnel. And he'll desperately want to be under there and away from the rain. But 21 seconds his current lead as he goes into the pits. Natu, there's some cones on the ground. Did he let's have a little look here. What happened to Natu? So Natu into the braking zone. He's on the soft compound tyre, remember? Braking very hard, but it's so slippery, that track. And taking an interesting line, gets on the power. Back end slides out into the wall he goes. How many places is that cost him? That is a bit of a disaster. It didn't actually cost him as much as you would have thought, because he's still in second. But there goes Zeno. Is Zeno gonna have jumped everybody? Right, actually he didn't. So Zeno into second position on the wet compound tyre. Monkey Man Macho gets out of the pits in the lead of this race. So that was a phenomenal strategy for them to stay out that extra lap. Zeno is going to make the move. Remember, Zeno's tyres are one lap older. How long can he hold on though? Because Monkey Man Macho looking pretty darn racing at the moment. Greasy back in third. He has now put on the intermediate tyre. He's ahead of Tech Racing. Tech Racing opted for the wets. Sharky has opted for full wets as well. Interesting choice then, because there we go. So the HyPrix drivers have opted for intermediate tyres. Now I'm assuming that these guys have pretty much practiced full on the settings and every kind of scenario. So it's interesting that the Kawasurian and Greasy from HyPrix have opted for the intermediate tyres, while everybody else feels that the wets are the more sensible option. Now that could either be an absolute stroke of genius or insane. There's only one way to find out, is we look at where they are in about 30 minutes time. So halfway point, let's do a full rundown from back to front, because we do guys in the back to front. So Bendit, he stayed out on the soft tyres despite the weather being insanely wet, and I've got to say, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. If the top guys are pitting, you've got to go in, you've got to change out those tyres. It doesn't make any sense at all. In fact, he put on soft compound tyres. Was that an error, or did he forget to buy it wet? Now, have we lost someone from this race? We have. Someone is disconnected. Nico has been disconnected, and that shuffles everyone up a little bit. But Bendit, awful times for him. He's struggling big time. It looks like he's got the wrong tyres on. Hopefully he'll, and just couldn't get slowed down. Could not get slowed down, and he's going to have to try and get that car turned on a very slippy track, and dive into the pits and put the correct tyres on. Maybe he gambled. Maybe he made the gamble. It wasn't going to be as wet as he thought, and he could find a dry line pretty quickly. But it hasn't worked out that way, and he is miles behind. And he's going to get lapped very, very soon. So LJ, we saw him spin early on. He's on the intermediate tyres. He's got a little bit of damage. Can we see what happened to him? Looks like he's clipped a wall all the way through. Yeah, a few people have made that mistake there, just going a little bit too hot. You kind of look at it, you think you can go through there quicker than you actually can. You need to scrub off a lot of speed going through there. Tatiana's on the wet tyres, 2.7 seconds behind Cyclone Dan. HBR also on those full wets. He is running 1.8 seconds ahead of Cyclone, and 4.6 behind The Truth. The Truth also going for the intermediate. Interesting to see that drivers go for different options depending on their confidence, really. I suppose that's the big thing. Natu for lap 17 is on the intermediate tyres as well. He is from the RWB Racing team, currently the team championship in this year. Slipstream gone for the full wets. I think the full wets is probably the better option. I know that the rule of thumb is if that you've got that little bar, and if it's above the first one, then you know what the intermediate is above the next one, the wets. But it's an interesting choice, but on a slippy track. At the moment, it's not really about, because Zeno's pulling away. It's 10.5 seconds back to Greasy. Zeno is 7/10 up the road, and he's starting now in this wet weather to show incredible pace. And bearing in mind that he was back in fourth before the round of pit stops. Of course, everyone's going to have to stop again at some stage. We know the track. Well, I say that we know the track's going to dry out, or the weather's going to dry out. The question is, of course, whether the track dries out. That's the big question. But at the moment, they all seem to have settled in a little bit. Greasy and Tech Racing 7 seconds apart, 1.9 to Sharky. It's 2/10 between Kawasuri and Sharky. Is Kawasuri going to put some pressure on? Bearing in mind that the HyPrix drivers both gone for intermediate tyres, whereas Sharky's gone for full wet weathers. With how greasy this track is, I feel that's the wiser choice. But actually, to be fair, if and when the track dries out, do the intermediates last that little bit longer than the wets? I suppose that's the trade-off, isn't it? Is that you've got the wet weather tyres, which you might lose a little bit of pace when the track is not super wet, and the intermediates kind of work for you then. When the track's really damp, of course, the wets are brilliant and they work. But as soon as it starts to dry out, you've got that kind of window where the intermediate tyres are still viable, but the wets are no longer viable at all. So from that respect, the intermediates is not a bad decision. But I still think that with how greasy this track becomes as soon as it gets wet, that you are better off on those wet compound tyres and just and basically just getting your pit stop right and getting on the soft compound tyres. Do have a look and see if Bendit has gone back in and he has put on the intermediate tyres. So cock up from him, put on the soft compound tyres in the pit stop. It could have been a gamble, but it's a gamble that didn't pay off. Zeno is half a second clear, still holding Monkey Man Macho away, but only just. He's in that slipstream, Monkey Man Macho. But you have to wonder if there's a deeper strategy at play here, because in terms of pace, I think Monkey Man Macho just kind of edges it for towards saying that as we head towards the braking zone, Monkey Man Macho on the outside. Zeno doing the right thing, defending that inside line, but the switcheroo is on. Right, so Slipstream is the first to blink. Now, is that, I mean, you can see there is a dry line forming. You can see it. We go on board with Zeno, which we can do. You can see that there is now a dry line through this track forming. Now, gamble, massive gamble, I think, at this stage to go on to the softs. But if you can hang on without making a mistake for a couple of laps, you're going to have up to temperature soft tyres on your car when everybody goes in the pits, and you could find yourself earning a position or 5 by virtue of just having some big brass cojones. Battle's still raging on between those two. Zeno's still holding on. Monkey Man Macho did have a little look at him at one stage, but still it is Zeno. And bear in mind, Zeno won the first race at Sardinia, showed incredible pace. But last week at Dragon Trail, just off the pace a little bit. But that's the thing, it's a sick race season. You're going to have some tracks that suit you better than others. He goes very, very wide, and that allows Macho Man up into the lead of this race again. He has regained the lead that Zeno took from him as they head down under the bridge into the dry section. Are they going to jump into the pits? No. So it is just Slip. I want to have a look at see what tyres Slipstream on. He's got right. So Slipstream's made the gamble. Zeno has gone in. So Slipstream's made the gamble. Zeno's gone in. He's going to make that gamble now as well. And Greasy's staying out. He's on the intermediates. Now this is where the intermediates come into play, because it is a kind of semi-wet, semi-dry track. The intermediates have got that little bit of longevity in them with the wet track over those wet compound tyres. So this is where Greasy now can take that 6.9 seconds on Monkey Macho Man, and bear in mind at one stage it was about some 10 seconds, and start to reel that in. He's already starting to bring the times down. A 2:05 was his last lap. Kawazuri also on the inters. It looks to me that the intermediate tyres were the right choice for the pain you endure in the first couple of laps for it. Now they're starting to pay off, because they don't have to blink early and go for the soft compound tyre. They don't have to rely on trying to pick out that dry line among a wet track on tyres that when they go onto the wet part of the track are going to throw you unceremoniously into the wall like a big sack, like a small sack of potatoes, because in a big sack you wouldn't be able to throw very hard. So Zeno comes back out in 4th. He's now on the soft compound tyre. He's going to run to the end. 27 seconds to the leader. Can he find some kind of pace early on these soft compound tyres? And Sharky also, he's blinked. He's put on the soft compound tyres. He's up to 5th from 15th. Is he going to do it again? Is Sharky again going to get himself on the podium from the back of the pack? I'm beginning to wonder if he should start making those last to first videos that I used to see so much on YouTube. What people don't tell you is that they had it on easy when it happened. Tech Racing down into 6th place. He's also now on soft compound tyres. Slipstream was the first to make that decision. A decision that has seen him move back up to 7th. Monkey Man Macho, in he goes. What about Greasy? He's in as well. So now it is going to be soft compound tyres to the end. It's just a straight out and out race. Where's Kawazuri? Is he going to come in? Yes, he does. Right, Zeno, where are you? Zeno coming into the tunnel now. Greasy Sam Squadge comes out ahead of Monkey Man Macho. How did he pull off that absolute feat of wickedness? It looks like Monkey Man Macho put some fuel on board, and that has allowed Greasy to leapfrog him, but not only leapfrog him, but 3.4 seconds gap. What a move by Greasy. Didn't have to overtake him on the racetrack, had enough fuel from his pit stop. He knew he could come in. He didn't need to fuel, he just needed tyres, and out he came in the lead. So Monkey Man Macho is going to have to put in some qualifying laps in this last 17 minutes to close that gap. It is 2.6 to Monkey Man, 2.5 to Zeno, 1.1 to Sharky, who's now up to 4th. Kawazuri comes back out, he's in 5th, 5.6 seconds behind Sharky. 2.1 to Tech Racing, under a second to Slipstream. Is Slipstream going to write a bit of a success story, having not had a great start to this race? It was a little bit of a disastrous start, which dropped him down the order and saw him having to fight his way back. Nothing like the Sharky scythe through the field, but certainly he's making the moves now. So, closing on Tech Racing ever so quickly. I do want to switch to, I'll do it for every track. That view there, which for some reason I'm not, oh, who's that? Who was that? That was Zeno. Zeno's made a mistake, and it's all gone horribly, horribly wrong. And that's actually affected more than one driver, because Zeno spun the car in the wrong direction. He's obviously got it on the wet bit, tried to reverse onto the track straight into the oncoming path of Slipstream, the black flag driver, who picks up damage during that as well. So that is that's a bit of a disaster for Slipstream. Well, I say a disaster for Slipstream. He's still in 7th, but that's by virtue of the fact that Zeno has moved back to 9th place. So is that Zeno's challenge for the top 3 over? Certainly looks that way. The truth, he is still on the intermediate tyres. I was going to say he's up to the dizzy heights of 8th, but he's going to have to change out those tyres now because the track is drying out enough for the slicks, as we have seen. What's he going to do? He doesn't look to be putting to the left. Oh, he's putting to the left now. Lights are on. Is anyone home? They may be, but he's not coming. He's staying out for another lap on these intermediate tyres. Does he know something that we don't know? Because surely now the track is dry enough for slick tyres. Cyclone Dan. He's fast and he spins a lot. Maybe not true. 1.5 seconds to Zeno. 11.7 ahead of HPR. And 11.6 ahead of Tati. Tati just putting around there, just outside that top 10. Still on the wet compound tyres though, and staying on the wets for another lap. So those guys in the back, HPR still on the intermediates. Cyclone Dan still on the wets. Zeno onto the soft compound tyres, but we've seen what happens if you get off that dry line. LJ, he's now on the soft compound tyres. I fully expect to see LJ scything his way through the field for match punch racing. And Bendit made the mistake of going on to the soft compound tyres in the pit stop when it was moist. Well, I say moist is a understatement. It was soaking wet. It was wetter than a fish. I was going to say something rude then, but I realised there may be children listening. So here's the battle for the lead. Monkey Man Macho has regained the lead from Greasy Sam Squanch, but these two are duking it out. That's some chase down from Monkey Man Macho to get catch up Greasy like that. Last lap for Monkey was a 2-minute 0.6. Little clip of the wall coming through there. A 1:59 for Greasy. I don't know how they managed to catch him. I suppose it's in the slipstream. Made all the difference. And is he pulling away? It did look for a minute he was, but we'll see how they get through this section. Because Sharky is now up to third. He did it last week. Is he going to do better this week and fight his way from third to second to even first? So last week he started out the back of the grid, 15th place after a penalty. Fought his way through, overtook Slipstream, a couple of laps at the end, stole third place. A little bit questionable, pushed the pass, won't go on about it, wasn't entered for steward inquiry. But anyway, so today, didn't have the greatest of starts into turn one, saw himself having a little spinny spin, back to 15th place he went, and through the field he has come. He is now 13.7 seconds clear of Tech Racing, 4.4 behind this battle for the lead of the race, which is still raging on, with these two just swapping positions every single lap. Now Greasy leads the race. It's Monkey Man Macho, it's Greasy. It's Greasy, it's Monkey Man Macho. Just keeps changing all the time. Lubricate for my very sore throat. There is a bug ravaging through my house. My middle daughter was sick. My youngest daughter was sick. Really sick actually. It's Monkey Man Macho with the slipstream. Is he going to make the move again and take the lead of this race? These two have traded the lead of this race a few times now. Side by side, up to turn one they go. Monkey Man Macho in the better position on the inside. It is dry. They're sticking pretty close to each other. It's quite a wide track here, but the dry line is limited to the kind of centre of the track up that point, and they're sticking just to the dry bits. Nobody should be on wet or intermediate tyres now. There is a very distinct and very obvious and two-car wide, as it seems, dry line through this circuit now. I've just noticed, I've just glanced at my other screen, and Chris has turned on subtitles on the GTC YouTube. Something I don't do, and I probably should do. If you ever read the subtitles on YouTube channels, it's awful, really, really awful. And I don't ever remember mentioning sticky tarts ever in any broadcast, but it's just brought up something about sticky tarts, and it didn't make me giggle. Not out loud, obviously. Right. Greasy makes another one. That was a big mistake there by Monkey Man Macho. Big mistake by Monkey Man Macho. So into the final quarter they go. Monkey Man Macho in the lead, into the braking zone. Just overcooks it in the braking zone. Goes very, very, very wide. And then clips that wall coming through. And that allows Greasy to take the lead. And does it allow Sharky into second? No, but it does put him just 1.4 seconds behind Monkey Man Macho, and gives Greasy Sam Squanch a 4.1 second lead at the front of the pack. And that is absolutely devastating. Monkey Man Macho was on pole and looking really, really comfortable for such a long part of this race. We saw Greasy, and we saw those other guys, Zeno and who was it, LJ, wasn't it? They were all working together, trying to close that gap on Monkey Man Macho. They did. We saw Greasy take that #1 spot from him, but they stuck with it, and the battle carried on. Into the pits they went, and out came Monkey Man Macho in the lead through that wet period of the race. And then Greasy, 3 seconds clear from the second pit stop, and then they caught each other again. The gap is now 4 seconds, and Sharky's next target is Monkey Man Macho. Is he going to overtake another black flag driver in the dying seconds of a race to earn another position? Because it's starting to become a theme if it does. Because it was Slipstream last week. Is it Monkey Man Macho this week? I want to have a look all the way through the field because we've only got 8 minutes left before the end. I can't believe 8 minutes left, man. This race is awesome. Can we have some more, please? Can we go again? Again. So we've lost Nico. Nico disconnected, unfortunately, from this race. Bendit is 1 minute 38 seconds back after his massive error with the soft compound tyres. Whether that was just a lapse in judgment or whether that was an out-and-out mistake. Who's that spinning? That's a Match Spuds racing car, and that's the Match Spuds racing car of who? It's a lapped car, so it's difficult to tell. Was that LJ? Let's have a look. I think that was LJ. No, it couldn't have been. No, it wasn't LJ. Ignore me, it wasn't LJ. So that could only mean then it was HPR, because that's where Bendit is. See, Bendit has been lapped by a number of these cars, so that makes it very, very difficult to. He's 3.3, so he's on lap 24. Who else on lap 25, 26? Some of them lapped him twice. How far back is he? 3 minutes 32 seconds. It cost him so much time, that additional pit stop. Through comes, and that's another mistake for him. Not going well at the back for Bendit. This is okay. The whole system for the BMW Cup is brilliant. Okay, you know, the different point systems for different lobbies is really good. From day one, I've seen a flaw in this system of putting BMW lobbies based on qualifying pace, because one singular lap pace doth not a racer make. And anybody on a good day with just the right perfect conditions, and it looks like we've got another issue, and that's Bendit again, really struggling, really struggling, and that's another mistake. You need to get out of the way, because that's Tati coming through now, I think. Yeah, that was Tati coming through. Yeah, so and Greasy coming through as well. So yeah, anyone on their day, you know, purple patch, just get it right. You know, the wind's in the right direction. You just hit every apex and it goes right, and you put in a piece group. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's representative of your overall pace, because anyone with the right conditions can do that. When you assign people in the lobby based on one singular lap, I think you have to consider what their overall pace is. And the reason I'm saying that is that we've got a situation now. We've got a driver, and I love Bendit. He's a great bloke and a great driver. But he's not, I mean, no offence to him, he's not a Division 1 pace driver. But because of having one brilliant lap, bear in mind, he didn't win his lobby. He just had one super duper lap that put him in this lobby. He would have actually been better off. So, had he gone a couple of tenths slower, he'd be in lobby 2. And he could potentially get more points for winning lobby 2 than for coming 14th in lobby 1. That's the little flaw I see in the system. But it is what it is, and the drivers know what they've got to do. You know, if you put in a super hot lap, and you don't want to be in lobby 1, then don't put in a super hot lap. Quite simply. But we are 4.5 minutes. So basically 2 and a bit laps. Maybe this lap and then 2 more for the end of this race. So 30 laps, 28 laps, 29 laps. Learn to count, idiot. It's Greasy Sam Squanch is 4.5 seconds clear. Monkey Macho Man still holding on in second, and Sharky. I was going to say Sharky's under pressure, but he's not. He's just lapping Tatiana from third. So Sharky in third, but he's 3.7 seconds behind Monkey Man Macho. How long can Monkey Man Macho hold on? Is this going to be another third place for Sharky? Tech Racing in fourth, 22 seconds back. No challenge really from Natu, 2.4. 4.2 back to Slipstream. He's got a 13-second advantage over Kawazuri, who's 1.5 ahead of Zeno. Still potentially some chance for Zeno to try and salvage something from this race after that spin a couple of laps ago for him. I think that was on lap 21. Cyclone Dan running well, 21 seconds behind Zeno, 33 ahead of HPR, 8.7 back to The Truth, 9.7 to LJ. There's Dirty Tatty, and then Bendit is a lap down from everybody now after what seems like a bad day at the office. But proof, if there ever were any needed, that if you're in lobby 3 or lobby 2, don't chuck in a super stupid lap race on lobby 1. It's counterproductive unless you're going to finish in the top 10. And if you're racing in lobby 3 1 week, you're probably not going to be in the top 10 in lobby 1. The next, the quality of these drivers in lobby 1 is top notch, absolute top notch. And at the very, very top of the notches is this guy right here, Greasy Sam Squatch from Canada, leading the way by 5.3 of your great British seconds. Big gaggle of cars ahead that he's going to have to navigate past. But believe you me, he'll take as much slipstream as he possibly can from those cars before he sneaks past them and puts them another lap behind. Monkey Man Macho, the gap is 5.7. The gap to Sharky, 2.5 seconds as they come across the line to start the final lap of this race. Is Greasy going to get 2 laps? No, he won't. He's just going to start. So there we go. So this is the final lap of the race. Greasy from Monkey Man Macho, from Sharky. Any mistake now, and any of these guys could lose their current position. But if it stays as it is, if they carry on where they are and don't make a mistake, it's going to be Greasy from Monkey, from Sharky. They're going to be the 3. I'm going to be interviewing every 2 of them because Monkey Man Macho never comes to my interviews, even though he's a black flag driver. And it makes me very, very, very sad. 23 seconds to BTEC Racing just outside that top 3. Well, it was until Natu did that. What did Natu do? I hear you cry. He did this. He got in that slipstream. He pulled off to one side. He waved goodbye. Hello. And then through he came into 4th position. Thank you very much. I'll have that. Nice. Tech Race is sticking with him. Oh, no, you don't, he says. I am not giving this up. Last lap or not. There is your race leader. And possibly now championship. I think it might be all right. I think Monkey Man being in second, he's going to just. But it's a great battle because these two are first and second in the championship. Are they not? So great battles from them. So round the final corner, the ragged rascal ran his BMW, and that's Greasy Sam Squatch, and he is going to take the big prize. He's coming up behind yet again at the back of the pack. Your winner from Canada in the BMW M6 from Sim Race City or HyPrix Sim Race City is Greasy Sam Squanch. I've actually taken the applause button off my stream deck. Monkey Man Macho home in second. Sharky closed the gap by a second for third. We're going to have to wait a little while for everybody else. But what a top 3. That's another third place from Sharky, despite coming from the back of the pack. How far ahead would he be if he started on pole? Holy hand grenades, Batman. Here comes Natu. He made that move around Tech Racing, nicked that position at the death. Tech Racing comes home in 5th place. Slipstream home in 6th. That's 2 black flag drivers in the top 6 again. Ooh, sighted. Zeno is 7th position, but he's run out of fuel, has he? What's going on with Zeno? Okay, no, he does come home in 7th. I thought some cars were going past him, but I think they were lapped cars. So Zeno home in 7th, Kawazuri Home in 8th, HPR in 9th, LJ in 10th, The Truth, Dirty Tatty, and Bendit. And we lost one more from the removals. We lost. So we've had another disconnection. So actually, a couple of drivers gain an extra few points by virtue of a last-minute DC. But I do want to grab some drivers and get them into an interview room. We will sort that out in a minute. We'll do the full classified rundown first. Or maybe we'll do that after. We'll see. Let me just get to the right part of the thing. I do need to change something. What's happened? I've just pressed the wrong button. I've lost it. I've lost something. I've lost something I was expecting to see. So there we have it. There's your winner, Greasy Sam Squanch, with an absolutely brilliant finish, despite the fact that Monkey Man Macho led for most of that race. In all fairness, he managed to find his way past and not only take the position, but make it stick as well, which is very good. So yes, congratulations to him. Sorry, I'm trying to fix something at the same time as right, there we go. Right, Boom Shanker, moving swiftly on. Let's go back here, shall we? I do want to save the replay. Let me get that done. And we'll bring the results up there. Right, I'm going to go and find me some drivers to talk to. I'll bring out the results classified after that. I'm going to find me some drivers. I'll be back shortly.
Looks like you got sucked off the track and that hairpin on.
What?
Yeah, Monkey Man in there, right? Or is Monkey Man even in here? He's not in here.
He never comes in. He never comes in to talk to us. It's annoying because he's one of my bloody drivers and he never comes to talk to me.
Well, you gotta give
PP slap then.
Right, sorry, bear with me. Hang on. How's that? That's better, isn't it?
Good win, Gracie. Your second one.
Thank you.
So yeah, so it's
My second win.
it's 2 wins for you from
That's
3.
number 2 of the year.
It's another third place from pretty much the back for Sharky. It's pretty eventful.
I'm sick of the comebacks.
That
I'm
was
pretty
a
sick
great
of
drive,
it.
Sharky.
Only threw up twice, so I'll call that a win.
What
Jesus,
happened?
man.
I saw a couple of cars spin, but it was both your team, wasn't it?
Well, I think when I was coming into the corner, there was a big gap on the inside, and just as I went for it, I think Natu turned in on it, and I got hit from behind, and then there was a bit of lag that sent Natu up and into Sharky, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's what happened.
I got sent around, and of course I'm the one that gets sent around.
It was your 2 cars that lost out because you and Natu then had to fight your way through from the back. But I've got to say, I mean, it's a difficult track to overtake this one,
Very.
and yet you still managed to do it.
Yep.
12 times.
Well,
how
it's
did
kind
it
of the
feel having to
second.
fight on? What goes through your mind? So you end of lap one, you've qualified relatively well, mid pack, and then you get to the end of lap one and you're last, and you know it's a 60-minute race. What goes through your mind at that point?
A lot of swear words, mate.
A lot of swear words.
Just 6 seconds off Bruce, 14th. 6
Yeah.
seconds off him. And yeah, I don't know who that was. Next thing I know, I'm at turn 1, I'm facing the wrong way, so it's pretty annoying. And I maybe could have got second had I not had to grab the bucket at turn 1 a couple times, but that's nobody else's problem. But yeah, it's just it wasn't a good race for me. I don't feel great, so.
It wasn't a good race. You came third. You were 15th at the end of that one. But yeah, no, that was rubbish. You're right.
I'm impressed you did as well as you did with how you're feeling, man. That's props to you, dude. Props to you.
Absolutely.
You're a tank.
The rain, we knew it was coming, but I don't think we knew it was going to come like that. It was almost like someone just turned a tap on, right?
That rain was insane. I saw the dark blue bar coming, and I was on the intermediates, and I went, "Oh crap!" So I turned the traction control up to 5 and hold on for dear life.
It was weird because the first two people I saw put the intermediates on was you and Kawazuri, and I thought, "Ooh, HyPrix have got a little tactic," and then a couple of other people did, but I think it did pay off in the end because with the with the wet tyres, you're kind of either on the wet or you're not. And once the track started to dry out, you could do that extra lap on the intermediates, which allowed you to close up a little bit on Monkey Man.
What got me was on the pits, the Zeno and Monkey Man short fueling, because I put a full fuel load in. I came out 15 seconds behind on the intermediates, and I couldn't tell if they were on wets or intermediates, but I was gaining time on them.
Yeah,
in that little area.
Yeah, that was probably.
It was.
I probably made the wrong call there.
It was Slipstream that was the first to blink. He was the first one to spot the dry line and put on the soft compound tyres. And he actually he salvaged a couple of places because he dropped down to sort of 9th, 10th place, so he managed to salvage some places. But
yeah, I saw him go in, and I was like, I need to do one more lap on the intermediates just to be safe.
Yeah, Zeno did pretty much the same. So the following lap, he went in and put the softs on, and it was all going so well.
I went in behind.
And then he caught a wet patch, and round he went.
Oh, you catch a wet. Well, that's what happened to Monkey Man. I was right. He made the pass on me, and we went into the hairpin, and he just got a little bit wide, and he got his left front in that wet, and it just pulled him straight off the track.
Yeah,
and I got taken out by a couple lap markers too, right near the end there. I can't remember who it was. Truth tried to get out of the way, and it ended up all bad. I ended in the wall a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little bit carnage towards the end, but I think the problem is, of course, the back markers are trying to get out of the way, but as soon as they get out of the way, they're in the full wet.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's what I was saying in my chat when I was behind Monkey Man. I was like, it's going to be really hard to pass him on a wet line going around the outside or something. So I'm just glad it came through for me, and I'll take that win.
Yeah, two from 3 races now. That's looking pretty good, isn't it, at the moment?
Well, I've been on the podium all 3. That's my first win this season so far.
Of course.
Yeah.
Second, third, and the first.
His other one I was talking about was Willow Springs.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, the Corvette, yeah.
No, that was pretty double. I mean, Monkey Man obviously won last time out, and it looked for so long that he was going to win this race. I mean, from the bat, he was off. And I think the best part of this race was that first kind of 20 minutes, half an hour, where it was you, Greasy, there was LJ was in there, and Zeno, and the 3 of you were basically just bumping each other up the road, trying to close that gap on Monkey Man. I felt like I had the pace to lead the train, so I kind of broke character and went around, and yeah, it was one of those tricky ones, when to pass and when not to, but it's so hard to pull away and make a gap on that one.
but I was begging
I don't
Zeno
know.
and whoever that was, LJ Racing or LV Racing or whatever it
Yeah.
was, behind me, just begging me to bump me. We're never going to catch Monkey Man. And then they started bumping me. We caught up to him.
Yeah, no, it was really good ploy because I don't know if you'll watch the stream back later, but you'll see that we looked further back and then Kawazuri. There was another train of three behind with Kawazuri in it, and there was a bumping going on between. I can't remember who the other two cars were. They were bumping each other along, and Kawazuri's like, "I'm having none of this," and just overtook the pair of them.
It was me.
Well, you got to do what you got to
it
do
was me and
sometimes.
Tech.
Okay, yeah,
It was me and Tech, the other two cars, and he tried to go around all of us, but I just decided I'm out braking because I thought I'd risk it because I didn't know Kawasaki was on Inters, and that's probably why he was sticking with me so easy.
Yeah.
Sticking behind me. Monkey's just texted me. We got to nerf you somehow. Bro, I haven't come close yet. I haven't come close.
If you got a clean race from the start, you'd be doing way better. That's for sure.
Do you know what? I'm genuinely afraid for everybody because he two third places from the back of the grid, essentially on that one.
He's a beast, man.
I'm
He's a
scared
tank.
about what's going to happen if you start on pole. Everyone's screwed, man. You'll be finished about 6 months before everybody else. They'll all still be driving. And you'll be like chilling with your drink and like, oh yeah, I'm done now. It's going to be mental. But listen, that was awesome.
Next race.
That was an awesome race. Where are we next time out? Where are we? Bring up the calendar and have a look.
I'm not too sure.
Forest reversed. Forest reverse, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
that'll be a tricky one.
That is
I like it better in reverse.
But another one with some great slipstreaming opportunities. So we'll see.
You know it. Another track that's hard to pass on.
Yeah, I know. It's what makes it so exciting, isn't it?
You know it.
The quality. I've got to say before we go, the quality of drivers in Lobby 1 is insane, right?
It's unreal. I have so much fun in these races, even on a track that I'm not very fond of and I find kind of boring. I still had a lot of fun in that race.
Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. And there's that kind of added jeopardy as well of having to put that super hot lap in, of which you are the only driver today, Greasy, that went sub 58.
57, yeah. That was a great lap.
I did see that.
Yeah. So
got a great draft, and that was it.
Unless somebody in division like Lobby 2 or 3 or 4 had the most insane slipstream, I think you're on pole next week, mate.
Who, me?
I had a 58.4.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, 50,
I hope so.
I mean, the top. I'm looking at the top 8 now, and Kawazuri was a 59.0, but everyone was a 58.47 for Zeno, 58.41.
I saw 58.2 for somebody.
58.2 for Tech Racing, 58.5 for Monkey Man. It's all very, very tight in there. What's on the next page? HPR 58.9. So unless somebody in 92's done really well, I think we're going to have a very similar to the top 8 here is going to be the front 8 next week. But listen, guys, it's been awesome. I'm sure we'll be speaking again this season because the pace you're showing at the minute is phenomenal. But we will we'll call it there and we'll catch you up next week.
Sounds good. Thank you for another great race. Good race, Sharky.
Cheers, guys.
And Monkey Man, good racing with you if you're listening.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. We'll talk to you later.
I thought I'd get him, but then yeah, alright, see ya.
So there we have it. That was that was Greasy Sam Squanch, who gets his first win of the season. Third podium, 3 podiums out of 3 races. And Sharky with another third place from the back of the grid. What can they do to stop the current GTC world champion from ripping a hole through every single race that he's in? That was absolutely phenomenal. Just want to jump back to the final. What's that? That's the calendar. No one there. There we go. So that is that's the classified finish there. Greasy Sam Squanch with 1:57.9 fastest lap. Most likely going to be on pole next week. Monkey Man Macho just behind him, 3.5 seconds back. Sharky in third. Now 2 was fourth. That's the LRC, who are currently leading the team championship with a 3rd and 4th, going to extend that lead, and hopefully, I think Black Flag are going to extend their lead from 3rd with 2nd and 6th there. Tech Racing in 5th. It was Slipstream from Black Flag in 6th. Zeno for ART in 7th. 8th was Kawazuri from HyPrix. So it's quite good points for HyPrix, actually, with Greasy winning that race. HPR for Mash Spuds and LJ were 9th and 10th. The Truth for Sector 7 was in 11th. Tati in 12th place. Then Bendit from Black Flag, I forgot the name of my own racing team, from Black Flag in 13th, because we lost Cyclone Dan and we lost Nico to disconnections during that race. Bendit had an absolutely torrid time, and the 1:59.8 actually wasn't a shabby time, but with the pace today, I imagine that will probably be a Division 2 time this time out. There we have it, all done. We move on to next week. Next week we are at, where are we at again? We are at Deep Forest Reverse. That is a really, really tricky circuit because you've got two massive straights either side of the racetrack, and it really does require phenomenal exit speed, but mostly great defending, because you're going to have given up lots of slipstream to cars in and around you. All that's left to say is thank you very much for joining me here for the GT Champions BMW Cup round number 3. Lobby 1 is getting spicy. We will catch up again next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you very much, and good night.